There's several issues here. One is that you have a divide, I would say, between Trump and his some of his closest aides in the White House and leaders elsewhere in the administration, such as the State Department and the Defense Department, and indeed probably Treasury and Commerce and other U.S. government agencies. Much of the controversial and indeed inflammatory rhetoric is coming from the White House. It's coming from Trump and his top advisors. It's not coming from secretaries in the other agencies for the most part. And, one thing that I've been arguing for quite some time is that, an indication of just how bad a crisis this relationship could face will be whether Trump and his top advisors continue to have the upper hand. Will they continue to say these nasty things, and will that then drive the relationship from the U.S. side? Or will you have efforts, perhaps quieter, more conciliatory, from elsewhere in the U.S. government to try to slam the brakes on this crisis? Now, it's difficult. It's difficult to do the latter. I mean, as you know, the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi, I believe it was, its X account the other day posted a message celebrating the strength of the U.S.-India relationship, including, ironically, economic cooperation. And understandably, that was widely criticized as tone deaf, which it is right now. So the question is, will Trump and his top aides hold the relationship hostage with their repeated rhetoric and criticism and insultery? Or will you quietly have efforts, on an institutional bureaucratic levels to keep the relationship moving? I mean, it has been, we have continued to see things happen. Just recently, there were some military exercises between the two countries. There was a 2+2 meeting recently. So things are happening. But final point I'll make on this is that what the president said today about India being lost to China and other overheated rhetoric that's been made, it may not be true. It may not reflect the views of broader Washington, but these comments are picked up on by many members of Trump's base, including some very prominent social media influencers, and it's driving a certain type of message and narrative that is very critical of India, particularly as it relates to pretty sensitive issues, domestic issues in the U.S. like immigration, and this does not help the U.S.-India relationship at all. Well, I mean, I think first that we have to be sure that we understand the facts. And one of those facts is that India has not been lost to China. India, of course, has been conducting an effort over the last year to ease tensions with China, but it's very clear that given a series of major factors, such as the disputed border between India and China, which is a source of major distrust, as well as China's alliance with Pakistan, it would be wrong to suggest that India is now, in league with China, or that it has been, quote, lost to China. That's one thing to keep in mind. I would also note that President Trump himself has signaled at times during his second administration that he himself wants to be working very closely with China. He had a phone call with President Xi soon before he took office, and he said that he looked forward to working with President Xi, cooperating on peace and security in the world. I think that this is the president really reflecting the unhappiness that he has with the Indian government, which comes down to a number of issues. One being India's refusal to make all of the concessions that Trump's negotiators wanted India to make in the trade talks, as well as India not letting Trump take credit for him playing a role in the India-Pakistan ceasefire. So I think it's this personal factor on the part of Trump, the sense of grievance that continues to play out. But obviously, I mean, if the president of the United States is saying that it looks like India has been lost to China, that obviously in of itself, even just as a rhetorical point, is very significant, even if it's not true.